And
did you see the Opie thing?
The Opie thing.
About me?
Yeah, he talks about you all the time.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
But usually good, right?
Yeah.
Somebody showed me a screenshot.
Yeah, he posted a short on his YouTube.
About, stay tuned for the Opie and Bubba, or would it sound better at Bubba and Opie show? Did you see that?
Yeah. He said that last time he heard from you, you guys were going to do like a one-off show, and you were going to go ask Howard if it was okay, and he said that it probably didn't go okay. That's why he's never heard from you.
Oh, well, fuck that. Let me text him right now. What if I call him?
Yeah, he's probably hanging out.
Yeah, I'm just going to call him.
He's got a new podcast.
He does?
Yeah, he drinks beer out of shoes.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right. Let me see here. I'm just going to call him.
Call him.
Call him.
Call him.
He's so funny.
Ruby.
I swear to God, my phones ain't working.
Swear to God.
Uh-oh.
That's
Swear
what
to
you
God,
do.
Bushman.
Good job.
Look.
Oh,
Blitz, you just fixed it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Bubba.
You're live, by the way.
And you're live, and I just want to let you know that I saw, you sent something out where I must have asked Howard, and it didn't go so well. I didn't ask Howard, and nor am I going to ask him. I'd love to do a show with you. I don't got to ask him.
No. Well, first of all, I hope you know I was joking. Second of all, the last time I talked to you, you said, I'm going to go to Howard and talk to him about doing a show with you.
Right.
You don't remember that?
No, I do remember that. I do remember that, but I think that ship has sailed. Me doing any shows for Howard, and so why not you and I do a fucking show, just like you said, and we can call it Opie and Bubba. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, but I was just joking with the fact that, with my history with Howard, that you would call him to talk about a show for us. That's all. I hope you didn't. I hope you didn't take it the wrong way.
No, not at all. I will tell you this, that you were right, and I got to thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I might not want to have that conversation. Opie's probably right on that deal.
Okay. Hey, so I've been trying to get you on my shit for a while now. I got to ask you, what do you think of the layoffs at Sirius?
Was it like 7 or 8% of the workforce?
8%.
8%. That comes out to like 500 people.
Well, I think that, to be honest with you, SiriusXM, as much as, did as great things that it did for us collectively, I think that they're no longer the sexiest guy in the room by far, and that they are so fucked, and that they've not. Listen, when we were all there was talent there. There was radio people there. You and Ant and, Howard and me. And then, they had other, they had Rich and Cavino. Like they just, they had somebody's cup of coffee for anything. And they are so fucking worried about movie stars and comedians and people that don't make a difference and truly don't know how to do radio. They're still in the radio genre, but they are not, hiring radio people, and I think they're fucked. I think they're absolutely fucked.
Oh my God, preach!
They
would just hand money over to these celebrities, and then some of these celebrities didn't even have to come in. The rumor with Eminem is they pay him millions of dollars, and he has to do one show a year.
I thought when we were there, I thought that they had learned from the Martha and the Oprah and all that bullshit. I thought that they had learned from that and the Jamie Foxx channel that you just can't. These motherfuckers, the virus and the Bubba Army and the Howard people, that these guys are men 18 to 65 that are driving in their trucks or working construction or in their vehicles, and those fuckers do not care about celebrities. They want to be entertained by radio people, period.
Of course, and you know as well as any that a lot of these celebrities, they don't give you anything because they're guarded and they're too scared if they say the wrong thing, they're going to lose too much. So I don't understand why you would think that would work. I got to give you what I got to take one moment to plug. I literally just uploaded it, and it's going to be out at noon, excuse me, on my podcast feed, Opie Radio. But I break down the whole reason why satellite's in deep trouble, and I do want to tell you, live here as well. they ignored the podcaster, just like regular radio ignored satellite radio when it was coming.
And I just don't understand. There's still, and you talk about the celebrity deal. Two things to that. Not every celebrity can do radio. Celebrities are most of this shit is scripted out acting, whereas as you've been doing it as long as I do, we do spontaneous, spur of the moment, opinionated. That's our craft, and not every one of those people are good at it. And then secondly, the other thing that our audiences collectively, whether again you're talking about, let's call it the big three and call it Howard, you guys, and me. Let's just, for all intents purposes, call it that. I would be so honored to be in that group. And so, but nonetheless, we all were transparent. Howard would talk about stuff that was going on in his life. You and Ant would talk about stuff that's going on in your life. We talk about, well, these celebrities, they can't say, last night my wife wanted anal for the first time, so I stuck it in her ass. We can say that, because what the fuck are they going to do to us? Nothing,
Well, the other thing you need to say in our heyday, like I don't do 20 hours of original material a week anymore, but we had to come up with 20 hours of original material a week. And these podcasts and these celebrities, they have a tough time squeezing out an hour a week.
Yeah, and then the whole big podcasting facade in itself. There's very few people, and I'm dabbling in it a little bit as well. I think we got like 5.5 million total downloads. We get about 175,000. I mean, I'll tell people my fucking numbers. I don't care. Like 175 or 200,000 downloads a month. And it doesn't pay that much fucking money. So everybody has this not everybody's making very little are making Joe Rogan type money. Well, I guess only Joe Rogan's making Joe Rogan money. And the rest of us are making, if some schlep can pull in $3-4 grand a month on his podcast, he's killing it.
Right.
And
yeah, I agree.
And SiriusXM is run by a bunch of fucking idiots who don't know anything about they don't even know the fucking genre that they're in. They're still in radio, and I hope that, honest to God, I hope they fucking crash and burn.
Well, Opie talked about it on one of his live streams a few weeks ago about how his first podcast contract, they were expecting like millions of downloads per show. That's just not reasonable.
Yeah. No, it's just not reasonable. It's just not going to fucking happen. No matter how big a brand you had or how big a brand you have, it's about distribution, and it's about a lot of different things. And the podcast world is just so fucking inflated. And I really chuckled. I don't wish bad for SiriusXM, but I certainly don't wish good. And they're not doing anything that resembles anything that got him to the dance. Look what got him to the dance. The big three, and NASCAR, and other men skewing non-celebrity shit is what got him to the dance.
Well, then they got more into, and I know you love them, and that's fine. I'm not trying to, pull you onto my side here, but they were in the Howard Stern business, which basically meant it wasn't as bad at first, but then it became a point, take care of Howard, give him all the money, don't worry about Bubba anymore, or Opie and Anthony anymore, or a whole bunch of other guys that have now left the platform. As long as Howard keeps bringing in the subscribers, we're good. That was their business model. Take care of the one guy.
Well, and so I can support that. I can support that comment, but I can take it another further, Opie, and that is, what about life after Howard? Can you imagine if you had us ready to go for life after Howard? I mean, there's going to be life after Howard. If you're going to be a successful, sustainable business, you have to be able to keep his P1s. I can't think of two motherfuckers that could retain his P1s better than you and me.
I think, radio, like a lot of corporations, they don't really care about the future. It's like, make the money now. So the guys that are there now, they know they'll be retired more or less, or at the end of their careers by the time Howard leaves and they have to reinvent themselves. That's why they don't do it.
I mean, I got to tell you, you're polarizing and I'm polarizing, and but can you imagine if and I would say this to Anthony as well, just in full disclosure, okay? Can you imagine if they had, I don't know if you two could ever play nice together, probably not, but can you imagine if they had a combination of us in some way, shape, or form, whether it be me and you, me and him, us three, I don't give a fuck. But if they had that, had that in the works, 1 year before Howard's done, they start rolling us out or having us, we know we're going to do it. They would be able to. They need to worry about where Howard's people are going to go because they don't have anything right now. Listen, God love Jim and Sam. I mean, listen, God bless them, but they are not as good as we are. I'm just saying it. They're not.
They're not even close. Jesus.
No, Opie's not a big fan.
But Opie, I'm just trying to be. No. I mean, I'm just trying to be total fucking no bullshit here. Like. You and I and Ant and a couple other guys, we're that old school cut from Howard's cloth that still have 10, 12 or so years left where Howard's massive amount of people that are still around would say, you know what? I would subscribe to fucking Opie and Bubba. I would subscribe to Bubba, Anthony, and Opie or whatever. I would subscribe to that. I'll stick around for that shit. I would.
Of course. Well, they got to find guys that know how to do this. I mean, most podcasters, like I said, they've struggled to get an hour of material a week. These entertainers, they can't do it. Like us old school radio guys, like I said earlier, man, we had to come up with 20 hours a week. Can you imagine?
I'm doing more than that right now. I'm doing 20 of terrestrial radio with Twitch, and then I'm doing another Blitz
5 to 8.
I'm doing about 26 hours of radio a week.
Mm-hmm. Live.
Wow, you're crazy.
I know, I'm fucking insane. I'm on all kinds of medication. I had to fucking start getting high again. It's just fucking it's just fucking crazy.
What's your big issue these days?
Oh, nothing.
You all right?
No, I'm doing great. I have the best group of people I've ever had. I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm not making SiriusXM money, but I'm paying my bills, and I'm still, we're still making money, and here's the deal. First of all, let's break this down into a couple different things. Terrestrial radio, that's fucked. That's not even fixable. Right. Like that, that's fuck. Like, you guys, when you guys were, you guys used to absolutely kill it. What did you guys have at one time? 30 affiliates, 25 affiliates?
I kind of lost track, to be honest with you.
No, but I mean, you guys were far bigger.
I took it for granted, man.
Yeah, I mean, and we took it, and you guys were like, it was Howard who had like 60 affiliates, and then it was you, and then I had like, I think maybe 15 or 16. I was way below you guys. And so, but that, I mean, back in the day, we could make a good living at that. And that fucking ship has sailed because that whole industry's scared of itself.
Opie made a great living. He lives 500 feet above New York City.
Yeah. Opie made such a great living that Mel paid him to stay off the fucking air for I don't know how many years, didn't he?
2 years.
I mean, hey, I got to admit, man, they treated you guys good. They paid out your deal on that, didn't they?
Yeah, they had no choice because they knew we didn't do anything wrong in the end, but they were scared of all their other properties. So I had stupid money just going into a bank account while I wandered the earth. It was crazy.
Don't you wish that I'm probably mostly to blame. You're probably a little bit to blame, but don't you wish that somebody would have taken us aside back when we were rolling hard and said, "Hey, listen, you two fuckers, why don't you play nice? It's going to get you further down the road." Don't you think that would have been cool?
Well, now I fully believe that. And even at the end of my Sirius run, I had major issues with Howard. I tried to talk to him by working, the people that we both knew. And he had no interest. And whatever, that's
and listen, Howard and I have remained friends, but he doesn't want me over there. Right. And I don't necessarily know that it's his decision. It may be Greenstein. It may be, I don't know who the fuck's. I don't know who it is, but they don't want me. They don't want you. They don't want anybody that is good. They don't want anybody that's good. They want Howard to roll. They want Howard to roll out and be and have his legacy and roll out whenever he rolls out. And I wouldn't be so surprised that he doesn't sign up for another 5. I'm just telling you.
What else is he going to do?
Yeah, why wouldn't he?
I mean, if they're going to say, okay, Howard, we're going to pay another $100 million, and you can work 3 2-day, however. I mean,
he works like 6 weeks a year as it is now.
I would literally. They'd have to roll me in. They have to. Who was that guy that used to old radio guy that was Paul Harvey? Paul Harvey.
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, and they would roll him in when I worked in Chicago at WABC. I'm sorry, at WLS. And I was doing mornings. Well, they would roll him in on a wheelchair, literally, and give him his own studio, and he would go in there and do his little folksy shit and stuff like that. But fuck, if I was Howard, and you're making that kind of money with those kind of hours, I would continue to do radio if they had to fucking roll me on a wheelchair, as long as my voice still worked.
100%, and I wouldn't blame him. I gotta ask you. I was obsessed with your DoorDash thing. Are you still doing that?
No, and I only listen.
We just talked about getting back into it the other day.
I did that. I did that as a gimmick. I did it for about a month just so I could get some decent content, but it got everybody fucking talking, and it made for some great content. And I'm not that broke where I have to do DoorDash, but I was making about $88 a night. That ain't too bad. I mean, come on.
No, I'm not bringing it up for whether we're broke or not. I'm bringing it up for exactly what you just said. I have considered doing that, and also considered being an Uber driver for the content and for all the crazy people you meet.
Uber would be if you could get the person to be cool with, you roll and tape. Uber would be the best. It really would, because just think you could get into long form conversations. You don't know if you're going to get a couple hot chicks in there. You don't know if you're going to get a couple fucking drunks in there. You don't know what you got. And it's content that you can't plan and that you can't replicate. Period.
Yeah, it's like Russian roulette. There's the airport runs around here that take well over an hour.
And then you get a guy like you. You get a guy like you that knows how to ask questions, that knows how to pry, that knows how to, get the most out of somebody. That could be huge.
Well, I'm having fun. I don't make really that much money anymore. I don't talk to the same amount of people anymore. But for some weird reason, man, I'm having so much fun just fooling around,
drinking beer out of shoes.
Hey, if you're paying your bills,
thanks,
if you're paying your bills and you're supporting your family, and your family is healthy, you've made your money and you've done well with it. So fuck it. We don't need large audiences. Our egos are past that. We just need to be happy in your own skin, and we're natural broadcasters and naturally want to produce content, and that could be, however you want it. But I certainly would like to do some shit with you, because I really think that we understand each other. Like we both come from the same background.
Well, we should just have more of these conversations,
Yeah, we should.
And see what happens. But I explain it like this: my career, I had the biggest, fucking most delicious meal ever, and now I'm just mopping up the gravy with a piece of bread.
Now you got that roll, and you're sopping up the remnant so that the plate's clean. You're using the roll to clean the plate.
And if I get another great meal, I'll go for it, of course. But if this is all it is, I'm just mopping up the gravy with a roll, knowing I had an amazing meal. And who's the other guy with you?
Well, Blitz. I got Blitz.
Yeah, hold on. I watch Opie.
And the thing about it is, Blitz is also very knowledgeable, because he followed you guys.
Yeah, I was a huge O&A fan, and I watched Opie. I watched the beer show, and I do all that.
Yeah, Bubba. So this is the fun too, because you can just fool around and just try out different things. I just started something called The Beer Show, and we try out beers with my friend Matt, who owns a bar in New York City. And we're having a blast doing it, and people seem to like it so far.
Here's the thing. if you got something that you like, you will gain traction and you will gain momentum. It will. So don't give up. Don't give up. I mean, if this is going well, because I've known you dabbled in some shit and you're like, fuck it, I don't like this anymore. And, I only got 82 people watching, fuck it. And our egos take over. And you're like, God, I used to be in 39 fucking cities globally on SiriusXM. I had XM and Sirius fighting over me. I had multi-zillion-dollar fucking deals. You can't get wrapped up in that. You got to get wrapped up in your happiness and consistency. You got to do that.
Holla. I agree. All right, listen, I did this whole phone call in a bathtub, so I got to go.
Well, good.
Hey, just a quick question. How are your mirrors doing?
Oh, nice.
Hey, hold on. Hey, fuck you, Opie. I got one of my boys that keep up on you. That's impressive, isn't it?
He was getting his car mirrors smashed off like every week or so for a while.
But that took it. See, Opie was a little taken back. He's like, man, Bubba's boys really do fucking know what I'm doing here.
Well, see, I make it easy for the haters, so there was another concept that I loved. I had to do alternate side of the street parking. I was trying to save some money. I'm not going to lie to you. So when I had to sit in my car for an hour and a half, I was just live streaming.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. But then there's a thing in New York where they're taking side view mirrors, and they're really expensive to replace. It's over like $1,000, like close to $1,500 for a pair if you have a decent car. So I got my side view mirrors stolen. I got new ones. I was still parking on the street thinking that was an anomaly. It ain't going to happen again. Less than a week later, they took the new ones that I just had put on. So I lost my side view mirrors twice in about 10 days.
And isn't it suck that we live in such a fucked up, degenerate society that people now have to rip off your fucking mirrors of your car? Yeah.
Well, how do you figure out that you can make a living with that? And then you go up and down the side streets where I live in New York, you'll see like 5 or 6 cars in a row that no longer have side view mirrors, and most of them aren't even replacing them because they have to park on the street. I talked to the NYPD, and they basically said, I'm in good with the NYPD forever. And they're like, we'll never catch these guys. And then explain to me how it happens. They go on an electric scooter. They look for the cars they need. Then they call the guy who comes behind them, and probably not a bank because they want to be incognito. And it takes less than a minute to get.
It takes seconds to pull them off.
Snip.
Well, you know what? If you weren't such a fucking groupie for New York, you'd have your redheaded ass down here in fucking Florida, where we have no state taxes. I mean, if you're fucking killing it in New York, bitch, you could live in the 100th floor and somewhere in Miami down here, buddy. It's so cheap to live.
Well, I mean, dude, I'm a father, 2 kids.
How old are you? How old are your kids?
Well, I know what you're going to say, but I don't see it that way. They're 12 and 10.
Oh, they would love it down here. They'd be fucking rock stars down here. They would.
Yeah, they like their school. They like their friends. So I feel like I missed the boat getting us all out of here.
No,
Yeah.
Bubba, what you tell Opie is that you can go to the beach here year-round, and the fishing is great. That's how you get them down here.
The fishing year is to die for. Year-round beach, and we got fucking the Lightning. I know you're a big hockey fan, not Lightning.
The dog would like it.
The dog would like it. Your wife would fucking love it. She could go to the beach. And the kids are resilient. The kids are so fucking resilient. They'd get new. Hell, the Florida kids are cooler than those uptight fucking New York kids.
You're not wrong. Hey, speaking of sports, football. So the rumor is that Tom Brady might not be done.
Yeah,
we're hearing that. We're also hearing that Rodgers is going to the Jets. What are you hearing on that deal?
I mean, he's a head case. I hate that guy.
I don't know who's more of a head case, Opie, Bubba, or fucking Aaron Rodgers. I don't know.
I would go Aaron Rodgers, bitch.
Yeah, for sure.
But listen.
But yeah, I mean, we need a quarterback. We haven't had a good team. I really am a Bills fan because I lived up in Western New York for a really long time. But I was born a Jets fan, and we haven't had a good quarterback. 15 years? I have no idea.
What are you going to say, Mark Sanchez?
Probably since Sanchez, maybe.
And Sanchez was all right for a little bit, but I think it was Chad who ended up playing for the Dolphins after the Jets.
Yeah, or you could just say Vinny Testaverde. He had a good year in '98. I think
he was 40-something.
Well, listen, he had one good year with Testaverde.
Look at Brady. Brady's 86, and he's thinking about coming back again, motherfucker.
Well, Brady, he's
Who's your hockey team? Are you New Jersey Devils?
No, I'm embarrassed to say I was a huge Islanders fan. I was a season ticket holder. I went to more games than.
Yeah, you guys were going to go to a game down here. That was the whole deal.
Yeah, I'll take him to a Lightning game.
And then I kind of tapped out of hockey a little bit, which is weird. And I noticed on ESPN, because I'm home a lot, they don't do hockey coverage.
Why? Why do you think that is? Hockey's is. I mean,
They started to now because the NHL signed a deal with ESPN and ABC, so they started doing a little bit more than they did last year.
But my God, you think the NFL can whore itself out anymore? I mean, they're every fucking. They got every network sucking dick.
I know, but it's God, is it fun to watch?
It is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they really got the brand dialed in. I mean, they really do. Talk about somebody that's doing it right, right?
100%.
I mean, they got nothing on championship cornhole, though.
Championship cornhole. When you go fishing, what do you go fish? Like, have you ever fished for tarpon or anything like that?
No, bro. I get on a boat every once in a while. We'll get some pretty giant striped bass and some bluefish. I went shark tagging, but in general, I stick to the shore and I do surf casting. So what you get is decent-sized striped bass, sea robins, skates, and every once in a while you'll hook into a stingray, which is like reeling in a metal door. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we got tons of those around
Well,
here.
Bubba, I mean, listen, you take him tarpon fishing, that will blow him out.
Yeah,
he'd have him for about an hour and a half.
He'd have his entire family move down here. One day of fishing, taking him out by the bridge, get him on some tarpon. He'd.
What's up with the tarpon? I hear from time to time how cool fishing tarpon is, but I don't know what the deal is.
It's a fight. It's a huge fish. You can't eat it, but it will give you about an hour and a half fight, maybe 2 hours. And it's just one of those things, and you can't pull it on the boat. You got to keep it in the water.
No, you got to. The way they do it, Opie, is they take when they take one of their little things off. Lummy, they
take a little fin off, but they measure it, so then you see how big it is.
And then if you want to get a taxidermist to replicate it, but you can't.
Taking just one scale.
Yeah, one scale. You take one scale off and say it was 59 inches, 110 pounds, and then if you want to get a guy to replicate it, you can. But
and sharks try to eat them as they're getting them up.
Yeah,
a lot of times you'll be reeling in a big fucking tarpon, and a shark will come and take half of it away.
You get like a huge bull shark to just take half of it off.
So you're not allowed to keep tarpon?
No,
you're allowed to. Technically, you can keep one, but there's really no point because the meat is horrible.
Yeah.
Snook is where you're at. Snook's a smaller fish. It's like a straight bass.
Have you ever visited Tampa, Opie?
A million years ago, yeah.
No, it's way different now.
I was down in Orlando seeing my sister, and then I went there to hang out with someone I used to do radio in Buffalo. I loved it. And then I went down. I think it's 20 years ago. Didn't you guys have the All-Star game, hockey?
Yeah, we did.
I went down there for that. That was when I was fired, just wandering around. And my friend who worked for the Islanders, he was like, "Hey, man, I got a giant suite. Come on down." And I went down there, and we hung out for the All-Star weekend, and I had VIP passes. It was amazing.
Isn't Eric Logan your guy?
Yeah, of course.
Wasn't he a Tampa guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
I think so. I think so. And he left us. I think that was like the beginning of the end for us at Sirius because Logan really loved us. The rest of the company and management team, they hated us, but they understood that we could bring in the people. But Logan fought for us, and I remember the day he's like, "Oh, I got bad news," because we were really, really close friends. And he's like, "I'm leaving to run Oprah's network." I'm like, "Holy shit! You picked the one place that
the one place that I could never get hired would be Oprah."
Yeah, and I said that to him, and I was proud of him, obviously, and he had a kick-ass run there.
He sure did.
At least 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you know what he's doing now, right?
Mm-mm.
He's running you talk about how doing something you love and not worrying about anything else. He got into surfing when he was working for Oprah. He now is the CEO or whatever, the big guy for the World Surfing League.
Oh, well, good for him. I always had good interactions with him, and when I got fired for the $755,000 fine, I was talking to him over at XM, and I think it might have been. I don't know if you guys were there or not yet. I think I got fired first, didn't I? Of all of you.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Howard and I got fired from Clear Channel, and all I had was Clear Channel. But Howard had like 31 CBS affiliates, and then you guys were still on terrestrial radio.
I think they were doing both.
Yeah.
Were they doing both?
We were doing both. We were doing both for a while, which was insane. That was crazy.
Boy, that was some big fucking money, wasn't it? Jesus.
Yeah, but do you know what they would do, Bubba? Is they would do they call it the walkover.
Yeah,
so
they walk down to the studios.
Yeah, live on the air.
Now, Opie, did that ever get to be a shit show where you'd have fans that were like walk with you?
Every day we had people waiting for us outside the K-Rock studio for the walk to XM every day. I mean, some days we had like 100 people.
Right.
You know, on a regular day, though, we probably averaged about 10 a day easily. And then some days, because maybe something, more important was going on, there'd be 100 people outside waiting for us. And they would just do the walk. But then they gave us a multi-million-dollar studio, Eric Logan, and we had bleachers. So then we would invite them up, and they could watch the show live. It was crazy.
Isn't it? And I got into some pretty crazy shit too. And don't you wish that we would have just taken the time as all this whirlwind was happening to us, that we would have just kind of taken a step back and said, "Fuck." Because we thought we were invincible. We thought that we were the shit and we were invincible, but just kind of taken it all in and enjoyed it a little bit more because it's such a whirlwind now to us.
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, me and Anthony had a 20-year run. I mean, nothing. How many things really last 20 years? I mean, come on.
Well, you've been married. You've been married that long?
I've been married since 2008.
All right, we're approaching that.
Yeah, 15.
Hope she didn't hear this broadcast to know that it's coming to an end soon.
Oh God, no! She's the only stable force in my life.
Yeah.
It's funny when I think of you, like you and us always make the list of like craziest stunts, and they always rank us. And one year you're a little above us, and the next year we're a little above you. I mean, between our two shows, oh my God, did we do some crazy
Oh my
things.
God, and we got that, and I never called I mean, I might have. Maybe a few times in reading an article and stuff, but I didn't label my. I was like, Bubba the Love Sponge, shock jock. I never said that out of my mouth. People called us, but we were always the shock jocks. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, every time an interviewer would use the term shock jock, I would tell them they're doing lazy reporting, because our philosophy, and I guarantee it's very similar to yours, I knew how to get the people talking. We would get these giant bits that we knew everyone would be talking about the next day, and then that would bring the people to the show. And then hopefully you're entertaining, funny, or what have you in between those big stunts. The real shock jocks, that's all they had, and they didn't have longevity because in between stunts they didn't have much to talk about.
Well, they weren't good interviewers, and they didn't know how to they didn't know how to promote or how to tease, upcoming segments, or they didn't understand the showbiz aspect of talk radio and the internal strife and the transparency. And if you were mad at Ant, you guys would talk about it, and sometimes it would get a little uncomfortable. And a lot of people are afraid to let their defenses down like that and really let people peer into their inner self. And that's what we did, and that's what you guys did. And that anybody can shock a girl's tits or do whatever the fuck we did. Mm-hmm. But it was the transparency and the real lifeness, and that we represented the average guy that was out there digging a ditch or driving a truck. They gravitated to what we did collectively.
Yeah, and it brings it around to the beginning of the conversation. That's why these celebrities can't do what we do. They're not willing to put themselves out there like that.
What if, I know this is a fucked up subject, so I'm going to see, and you know what I'm going to say. What if SiriusXM came to us and said, Howard's gone, but I need all three of you? Could we do it?
I can't imagine a scenario where I would work with Anthony again, to be honest.
So
with you.
you brought this up, well, you brought up a bunch, but
and hopefully don't get mad at me for asking. I mean, it's everybody talks about it, so I mean, why not a friend of yours, me? I can bring it up, and I don't want you to be mad.
Well, hold
at
on,
me.
it was during a live stream. I was during a live stream, and I even commented on it, and I said that clearly you guys hated each other towards the end, but it didn't matter because it was still good radio.
Well, sadly, we didn't get along from 2000 to when Anthony got let go in.
But you guys need a strong alpha like me to fucking between you two. Be like, listen, both you fuckers, we're making lots of money. We're fucking going to get this done.
Yeah, that was the only reason we continued. I mean, the money was so insane. Of course we're going to continue. But the mics would go off, and for years on end, we didn't say a word to each other until the mics were on.
But it was still good radio. It was clear. It was clear. I mean, look, I watched on Pal Talk and stuff, so I got to see the commercial, what you guys did there in the commercials, and it was clear you guys didn't like each other, but it was still good radio.
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, I mean, money talks, and I know you don't need a lot of it, but if they were to throw a lot at you, and I could be the mediator... He has said many times he doesn't want to work with Anthony. Like, people have said, oh, what about $20 million? He's like, I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to get, first of all, Opie, I'm not trying to get you to say yes. I could give a fuck. I'm just, just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, man, I just don't want to be around the guy. I was in a weird way, I was relieved when the whole thing finally ended, even though the fame was going to go away and the money was going to go away for the most part. I was relieved. I think the other thing is,
I got a guy like that too that worked for me for 23 years. My bit writer Manson, and I didn't think it was not adversarial at all except towards the end. And I got to be honest with you, I couldn't find myself working with him again either. And it's been a relief not dealing. I totally get where you're coming from. I really do.
And we've grown very differently. And, I will say this, that I think you would agree, Anthony. In the end, we wore each other out. That ride was so crazy. We wore each other out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a lot of pressure, a lot of toxicity around us, and, the pressure of continuing to have a successful show. And I think in the end, it just wore us out as far as us hanging out with each other. You know what I mean? I'm not worn out as a human being, but I was worn out as far as being with him at that point.
And people don't realize, you guys did Morning Drive, not all of your career. Probably half of your career was afternoons and half in mornings.
Yeah, that's about right.
And people don't realize, man, and I've done mornings now for 20 plus years. And it fucking wears you, regardless of your host, your co-host that wears you out, but just the lifestyle that you got to live. You can't stay out much past 8 or 9. You're a zombie for your kids. Morning radio is tough. And I know you certainly can understand. Just the fucking lifestyle in itself wears you out.
Let me jump on that point. That's why I really like talking to you. I really like talking to Ron Bennington from time to time. Brother Weeze. It's just a small group of us that really understand this. That's why when I go online and haters try to broad stroke, what I did for the Opie and Anthony show, I laugh because they have no effing idea what it takes to put on a radio show. They have no idea that you wake up at 4 a.m, and sure, people wake up at 4 a.m. for their jobs as well. So I'm not saying that. I'm not downplaying that.
No.
But you walk through life when you do morning radio like a fucking zombie because you're using all your mental energy that you got to try to perform and try to give the best content and product possible. So by the time I'm done, I'm just staring at my wife. I can barely talk. My kids are like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm taking naps, and you walk through life with. Remember the heavy eyelids? You would just you couldn't even keep your eyes open.
And you're just mentally exhausted because you've been on this 4 to 5 hour live high wire that, again, we're not, it's live. And then it's so fast paced that you got to stay ahead of it and you got to try to engage everybody. You got to keep the topic matter going. You got to keep the co-hosts going. You might have to potentially have a caller involved or an interviewer involved. Right. And then literally, like I have a rule when I get off the air, I need, and with my girlfriend and anybody, I need an hour of just don't fucking talk to me.
Just to decompress.
Yeah.
Like I need like 45 minutes or something because I've just been, and there's the point, and I certainly know, what I'm talking about here. They don't realize what we call the on factor when you're on. If you and I are just sitting on a street corner and be like, hey, oh, what's going on? Nothing. Just fucking around. Yeah, fucking fishing. Yeah. But when you're on the radio, you got to be excited. You have to be energetic. You got to have a little fucking singy-songy. You just got to be on. Like the light's on, the camera's on. And, when I used to hang out with Hogan back in the day, Hogan would come in and sit in during a radio show and he was like, fuck, most actors only, by successful actors' standards, an actor might do 2 films a year. That's somebody who's working hard. And in that film, most films are, an hour and 20 minutes long. Maybe 2 hours, but maybe, and of that, a starring role may have 45 to 55 total minutes of being on. So, if you do two motion pictures a year as an A-list celebrity, you may be in your character or on for 4 hours a year. We're on, people like you and I are on 20 hours a week. And like Hogan was blown away with like, oh my God, how much time you actually have to be on.
Well, and you have to be on every single second. You can't have a bad spot. I mean, we do have them. But
sure.
Then, those really are painful because you're like, man, you know how important every second is. And then then the show ends, and in my case, I was looked at more the boss than Anthony, so I had to deal with the guys down the hall, and this advertiser needs 5 minutes, and this needs that attention, and then I would get home, and then the phone calls would start from the staff. This motherfucker, where's my raise? And it never ended. People think as soon as the mics end at 10 o'clock, you're done. I think the real job started at 10 a.m.
Oh, yeah, you got to deal with, okay, this salesperson. Hey, listen, Opie, we got this one client. If you could just give him a couple plugs tomorrow, I think we got him. Blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, Opie, can you cut this spec spot? Man, I think we can get a $50,000 buy on this fucking deal. Or, hey, Opie, will you endorse this? No, I hate that product. Well, fuck, I mean, come on. I mean, there's a bunch of, I mean, you and I could write a book about the fuckery involved in this bullshit.
If the money's good enough, I'll make believe my dick doesn't work. Of course.
Oh yeah, I mean, fuck yeah. But here's the thing: that the true art of radio, and the people that you and I grew up with, the Phil Hendrys and just the great broadcasters that had influences on us. The art and the craft of talk, monologue-based, opinion, guy-skewing radio is over. There's nobody. I like Ben Shapiro. I don't necessarily like I don't agree with all of his politics. And then I love Jim Rome on the sports side, mostly because they're radio guys. They sound like radio guys. Like, boy, nobody can interview a person better and constantly reset their audience than fucking Jim Rome. He's a master at it. And I don't know if there's any true radio craftsmen out there anymore.
No, there truly isn't. It's a whole bunch of podcasts that they're taking a page from my book, they're taking a page from your book, and they think a good show is just beating the shit out of everybody. And that was certainly a page in our book. But like I said earlier, in between beating the crap out of everybody, what else do you got? And if you don't have anything else, you're going to be found out as a fraud, as a phony.
And again, these fucks are doing 1 or 2 hours a week, right?
That's it. Tops.
And it's all, hold on. And you know what it all is? It's all interview-based shit. It's not, let's dig into this story and talk about abortion or talk about, this or that. It's this guy this interview that I'm going to do with this person who has this particular opinion that I could potentially oppose or agree with.
Right.
Hell, you and I could do a show just bullshitting about nothing but you and I.
Well, this was fun, man. I kind of got to go. My follow-on this call. I got to make sure everything's cool.
Make sure you didn't shit his pants. And so, listen, bud, let's get together, do this more often, and I keep up on your stuff, and I gotta tell you, I'm a fan, and I'd like to continue to stay in touch, bud.
100%. And you, because you don't come on my stuff, I'm always coming on
listen,
your
motherfucker,
stuff.
I'll come on your shit anytime. You know what? I have your. I'm gonna. Now that I know this number works, I'm gonna retext you my number. And Opie, I'll come on at any time, bud.
All right, but have one of your guys send this. I'm going to put it on my podcast feed.
All right, I'll Blitz. Can we get this to him?
Yeah, I'll get it to him.
Well, I'll get this to you. I'll get this to you, and I'll start doing stuff on your stuff too, bud.
I'm sitting here in a bathtub, and I'm like, man, I got my next podcast.
Your balls hanging out, that fucking red, fiery pubic hair. Jesus, you're all set, buddy.
slow down. Yeah, just promote my podcast, Opie Radio, and more importantly, the beer show on my YouTube channel, Opie Radio. I'm having fun doing that.
And let's do this, every couple weeks, and I'll do you do me, and we'll, let's hang out a little bit.
All right, sounds good, Bubba.
All right, Ope.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Ope.
All
Good
right.
talking to you. Bye, buddy.
Guys.
Thank you.
Bye.